The more you chase her, the less she feels for you. It sounds harsh, but it's the truth. When a man starts chasing, he flips the entire dynamic. Instead of being the one she wants to win over, he becomes the one trying to win her. That energy, that desperation, it's felt. Even if you're saying all the right things, your actions tell her, you have more value than I do. And that energy kills attraction. Women are not attracted to effort. They're attracted to status, certainty, and self-respect. When you chase, you're basically telling her she's the prize. But here's the thing most guys never understand. The man who acts like the prize becomes the prize. Chasing also removes all the mystery. She doesn't have to wonder about you. She knows you're available. She knows you want her. She doesn't even need to try. So why should she feel anything real? Let me put it like this. Imagine you're texting a girl constantly, always the first to reach out, always available. You think it's being attentive. She thinks it's boring. And one day, you notice her replies slow down. The energy changes. She doesn't even hide it. You're an option now, not a priority. But now flip that. Imagine you back off, stop texting. A few days go by. Suddenly, she wonders, where is he? Did he lose interest? That curiosity? That's the spark. That's where attraction starts to grow. Because chasing is about fear, the fear of losing her. But ignoring in the right moment shows confidence. It shows you're not afraid to lose anyone who doesn't see your value. And that's exactly when she starts noticing you again. When you stop giving her attention, it doesn't go unnoticed. It hits her ego hard. Most men think women lose interest when you go silent. Truth is, they often get obsessed. Not because they miss you specifically, but because they miss the way you made them feel. That attention, that validation, that feeling of being wanted, it feeds her ego. And when you suddenly stop feeding it, it stings. See, many women are used to being pursued. They're used to having guys try to impress them, double text them, ask them out. It becomes routine. So when one guy doesn't play that game, when he goes silent, it disrupts her sense of control. And that is what pulls her in. It's not love, it's not connection, it's ego. And when her ego doesn't get what it wants, she becomes restless. She might start posting thirst traps. She might watch your stories. She might even text you something random just to feel that power again. But none of it means she suddenly caught feelings. It means your silence forced her to think. Let's say you used to call her every night. She got used to it. She didn't appreciate it. Then one day you stop. No explanation, no drama. You just vanish from her phone. That silence, it echoes. She starts thinking, did he move on? Did I lose him? Was I not enough? And just like that, she's not in control anymore. When you ignore her, you're not attacking her. You're denying her the fuel she's used to getting. And that's what makes her ego panic. That's what makes her start noticing you again. Not because she needs you, but because silence threatens her sense of importance. And that feeling is hard to ignore. Let's keep it real. People don't value what's always there. That's just human nature. And when it comes to women and attraction, that rule hits even harder. The more available you are, the more easily she overlooks you. But the moment you pull back and become rare, suddenly, your value multiplies. Think about it. We chase what we can't have. It's not about being manipulative. It's about understanding basic psychology. When something is limited, we pay attention. We question it. We want to explore it. But when it's always in front of us, we stop noticing it. We assume it'll be there tomorrow, next week, or whenever we decide to care again. That's exactly what happens when you make yourself too accessible to a woman. You remove all tension, all curiosity. She doesn't have to earn anything. She knows you're there, and because of that, she stops valuing your presence. Scarcity isn't about disappearing forever, it's about being intentional with your time and energy. You're not ignoring her out of spite. You're showing her that you don't give unlimited access to someone who hasn't earned it. You're showing her that your time is selective, that your presence has a price, and when she realizes you're not like the other guys who are always waiting around, that's when she starts to feel something different. See, the guys who are always texting, always chasing, always available, they're everywhere. She's seen that before. She's used to it. But a man who pulls back, who's hard to reach, who keeps his world moving with or without her, that's rare. And that's what gets her attention. Women aren't drawn to men who are desperate to be chosen. They're drawn to men who are already complete, already focused, already in motion, with or without them. Scarcity doesn't push her away, it pulls her in. Because when something's rare, it automatically becomes more valuable. And in her mind, she starts thinking, if I don't hold on to him now, someone else will. Most men don't realize just how much power they give away by being afraid to walk away. They stay in situations where they're being ignored, disrespected, or used, all because they're scared of losing her. They think if they just hold on a little longer, she'll come around. If they just stay patient, she'll see their worth. But here's the truth, and it might sting. If she doesn't see your value now, begging for it won't change anything. The problem is, too many men are comfortable being uncomfortable. They get addicted to the chase, addicted to the hope, addicted to the potential of what could be, instead of waking up to what actually is and what's actually happening. You're settling. You're giving your energy, time, and attention to someone who's not even meeting you halfway. And you're calling that loyalty or persistence, when really it's fear. Fear of starting over, fear of being alone, fear that maybe she was your only shot. But let me tell you something. A man who can walk away holds all the power. Not because he's cold, not because he's heartless, but because he respects himself enough to never beg to be chosen. Walking away isn't about punishing her. It's about reminding you of your worth. It's about saying, if I'm not being valued here, I'll take my energy elsewhere. And that energy, that confidence, women feel it. They may not admit it, but it shifts everything. Men stop thinking that staying longer will earn you more love. Sometimes, the most attractive thing you can do is leave. Not with drama, not with bitterness, but with calm, quiet confidence. Because when you're willing to walk away from her games, her silence, her mixed signals, you prove that you're not desperate for her approval. You prove that you can't be manipulated. You prove you're not the guy who sticks around just to be tolerated. And that's the kind of man she remembers. Silence is louder than any words you could ever say. And when used right, it shakes her confidence in a way that no argument, no message, no explanation ever could. Most guys think silence means weakness. That if you don't respond, she'll move on. That if you're quiet, she'll forget about you. But that's only true when a woman doesn't care. When she does, your silence isn't ignored. It's felt. Deeply. Because silence does something dangerous. It leaves room for her mind to wander. She starts questioning things. Why isn't he reaching out? Did I push him away? Is he over it? Is he seeing someone else? And that doubt, that uncertainty, starts working against her ego. It triggers something emotional. And when a woman's emotions are activated, everything changes. See, most men react. You feel her pulling away, you panic. You double text. You ask if everything's okay. You chase. But the man who doesn't react, the one who simply withdraws into silence, that's the one she starts to notice. Because here's what you need to understand. Your silence isn't just silence. It's pressure. It's a mirror. It forces her to reflect on her behavior. It forces her to feel the space you left behind. And that space, it gets heavy fast. This is why silence works better than any long speech. She doesn't need a lecture. She needs to feel the consequences of her actions. If she's used to attention and validation, silence hits harder than any words ever could. But don't fake it. Don't go silent just to manipulate. Go silent because you're truly done explaining yourself to someone who doesn't value you. That's when it's powerful. Because when a man is unbothered, quiet, and focused, it shakes her in a way that loud men never could. Silence becomes your confidence, your boundaries, your control. And trust me, if she still cares even a little bit, your silence will be the loudest thing in her world. Here's one of the most brutal truths. The moment you stop caring is the moment she starts noticing everything. Why? Because women are emotional detectors. They can feel when your energy shifts. When you used to be all in, always there, always trying, and suddenly you're calm, focused, and emotionally distant, it sends a very clear message. You've detached, and that hits differently. Most men think being emotionally available 24/7 will win her heart. That being the good guy, always caring, always trying to fix things, will eventually melt her. But it doesn't. If anything, it pushes her further away. Here's what nobody tells you. Your emotions don't move her until she feels your absence. It's not when you overthink. It's not when you send long texts. It's not when you pour your heart out, trying to explain what's wrong. It's when you stop doing all of that. When you stop needing her attention. When you stop trying to convince her of your worth. When you emotionally disconnect, not to play games, but because you finally realize your peace matters more. And that's when everything changes. Because women feel when they lose emotional control over a man. When you stop reacting. When her cold behavior doesn't shake you. When her silence doesn't trigger you. When her mixed signals stop working. That's when her curiosity turns into anxiety. She starts wondering, why doesn't he care anymore? Did I push him too far? Is he done with me? That emotional pressure, it builds. And it all starts when you finally choose to care less. You don't need to scream. You don't need to argue. You don't even need to block her. All you need to do is mentally move on. Quietly. Fully. Without announcement. Because once you stop caring, for real, she starts feeling everything she tried to ignore. And that's when she realizes you were the one in control all along. Let's stop pretending like the dating game is all about kindness, effort, and being available. That's not how it works, not really, because the moment a woman feels like she has you completely, the game starts to change. Fast. See, women are attracted to the feeling of pursuit, the chase, the mystery, the unknown. The moment she fully figures you out, labels you, and wraps you up in a box marked guaranteed, her curiosity starts to die. Her emotions begin to settle. She gets comfortable, and comfort kills excitement. Now, don't get it twisted. This isn't about acting cold or distant forever. It's about understanding this one truth. People chase what's just out of reach. If she feels like she can have you at any time, on her terms, without effort, your value drops. Not because you're not good enough, but because human nature doesn't appreciate what comes easy. We're wired to want what we can't fully grab. That's the tension. That's the pull. And you've probably felt this before. You treat her right. You show her you care. You give her everything. And instead of getting closer, she drifts. She becomes colder, less interested. You start wondering, what did I do wrong? You gave too much too soon. That's what happened. What pulls her in isn't just your attention. It's your unpredictability, your self-control, your ability to not hand yourself over completely, to show you're interested, but still a little unavailable, still focused, still mysterious, still on your path, with or without her. Women want access to you, but they also want to earn it. If they don't, they lose interest fast. So don't rush to give her everything. Don't rush to prove yourself. Let her feel the distance. Let her feel like she doesn't fully have you. Because when a man stays slightly out of reach, he stays on her mind. Here's something a lot of men don't want to hear. Emotional availability doesn't always win the race. Sure, we've all been told that being open and available emotionally is a key to healthy relationships. But let's be honest, the more emotionally available you are, the less interesting you can become to her. The truth is, emotional unavailability is often what makes a man more intriguing. When you wear your heart on your sleeve all the time, it's easy for her to predict how you feel, what you want, and where you stand. There's no mystery. There's no tension. There's no space for her to wonder. And that's exactly what she needs. Space to wonder. Space to question. The problem is, many men fall into the trap of oversharing. They talk about their day, their emotions, their feelings, their every thought. And while that can feel good in the moment, it kills attraction in the long run. Why? Because when you make yourself too available emotionally, she knows everything. There's nothing left for her to figure out. Women want a man who has control over his emotions. A man who doesn't just spill his feelings the second something's off. A man who isn't always available to drop everything and cater to her needs. Here's the kicker. When you don't react to everything she says or does, it drives her crazy. It messes with her. Because now she's forced to feel. She's forced to confront the fact that she doesn't have you on speed dial. She has to wonder, why isn't he calling? Why isn't he texting back right away? Why isn't he chasing me? Your silence, your ability to stay emotionally composed, creates emotional chaos in her mind. It makes her question if she's losing control over you. And when a woman can't control her emotions around you, that's when you start to become the man she can't stop thinking about. Emotional unavailability isn't about being cold or uncaring. It's about being in control of your feelings, not giving them away for free, and that's what makes her feel like she has to earn your attention. You can't expect a woman to value you if you don't value yourself first. That's the secret to unlocking real attraction. Self-respect. Far too many guys believe that showing up and giving everything they've got to a woman will somehow earn her admiration. They think, if I just do enough, if I show her how much I care, if I put in all this effort, she'll see me for the great guy I am. But here's the painful truth. It doesn't work that way. When you put someone on a pedestal and neglect your own worth, you've already lost. Why? Because women don't respect men who don't respect themselves. When you're always the one chasing, always the one making sacrifices, always the one working harder to earn her approval, what does that tell her? It says, I'm not enough on my own. I need your validation to feel good about myself. And here's the kicker. She feels that neediness. She can sense it from a mile away. And she won't respect you for it. But when you stop begging for her approval, when you set boundaries, when you value your own time, energy, and worth, that's when she takes notice. Here's the deal. Women are attracted to men who know their value and live by it. Men who don't chase approval. Men who don't tolerate disrespect. Men who stand firm in who they are and what they want, and make no apologies for it. When you stop putting her on a pedestal, you're teaching her one important lesson. You're not here to be someone's second choice or their emotional support. You're here because you want to be, and that's a privilege. If you can't see your own worth, how do you expect her to see it? The truth is she won't. But when you start valuing yourself first, when you start respecting your own needs and desires, suddenly she'll want to earn your attention. And that's when real attraction happens. One of the most powerful things you can do as a man is have your own life. Sounds simple, right? But you'd be surprised how many guys fall into the trap of revolving their entire world around a woman. Here's the truth. When you have your own passions, goals, and ambitions, you automatically become more attractive. Why? Because you stop being predictable. You stop being the guy who only exists to give her attention. When you're constantly available, always dropping everything for her, always waiting for her to make plans, you lose your power. You become a secondary character in her life story. And guess what? No woman wants to feel like the star of your life. She wants a man who has his own narrative, someone who's on his grind, who doesn't need her to complete him. A man with his own life is busy. He's working on something. He has friends, hobbies, ambitions, things that make him fulfilled without depending on her for happiness. And when she sees this, it stirs something in her. She starts to wonder, what's he up to? Why is he so focused on his own life? Why doesn't he need me as much as I thought he did? That's when the chase begins. She starts to realize that you're a man of value, and that value is not defined by her approval. You're not her emotional backup plan. You have your own purpose, and that's what makes you irresistible. So stop being a man who waits around. Stop canceling your plans for her. Let her see that your world is already full, and she's lucky to be part of it. Because a man with his own life is a man who's always in demand. To wrap this up, let's get real. If you're the type of man who's always chasing, always available, and always trying to please, you're doing it all wrong. It's time to wake up and realize that the game isn't about pleasing her, it's about mastering your own life and your emotions. Here's the deal. You have to be willing to lose her to win her. The moment you stop chasing, stop validating, stop giving everything, that's when her attraction shifts. When you stop putting her on a pedestal, she suddenly sees you as a man of value, but only when you stop needing her approval. It's time to break free from the fantasy that treating her like a queen, giving her your emotional support all the time, and making her your priority is going to win her over. In fact, it'll do the opposite. If you've been stuck in that cycle, it's time to get your power back. But don't just take my word for it. Experience this for yourself. Take a step back, stop over-investing emotionally, and watch how her interest in you rises. I want to hear about your experiences. Comment below and share how you've applied some of these ideas. And if you've felt that shift, I'm here to connect with you and hear what you're going through. Trust me, your stories matter, and I'm here to engage with you personally. This isn't just about theory. This is about real-life change. So, drop your comments, and let's talk about how you can start taking control of your own emotional world, attract more of what you deserve, and shift the balance of power in your relationships. I'll be responding to comments, so let's build that connection. Your time is now. Make it count.